Hey everybody, it's Brian Lee with BT Lee's Sauces and Rubs here. The weather is getting cooler and that can only mean one thing: chicken and dumplings. Made that dish today with my Something to Cluck About's herb blend and hope you enjoy.
So for this recipe, I used a 2-pound roaster chicken that I de-skinned and parceled. To the pot, I added some olive oil, dried and cut chicken skin, keel, gizzards, wing flats, and tips, and I let those saute for about a minute on high heat. I wanted to get a little bit of browning. I then added some salt, reduced the heat, and all in all added about a half a cup of water to help render that fat. I let this render down for about 10 minutes until I had the fat and the fond I wanted before I began to remove the chicken. I let the skins do their thing for a little while longer because I wanted to build more of that fond. You can see it start to caramelize up right here to get to that nice golden brown. Look at that fond. I removed the chicken skins, set those aside, and then I added diced onions, carrots, and celery, and let those saute down, pulling up all that beautiful chicken fat and fond. Be sure to add another layer of salt here. You want those salt to open up the pores on those vegetables so they can absorb all of that beautiful flavor. At this point, I let that cook for about 5 minutes or so to sweat down, and I added a tablespoon of red wine vinegar just to kind of give it a pop. I add a little bit of Something to Cluck About to start layering those herby flavors, and we fill it with water. You want to fill it up about 3/4 of the way on the pot, enough to submerge the chicken. Add your chicken to the pot and bring to a simmer. We're gonna let this cook for about 20 minutes while we make a roux. So the roux is really simple. Tablespoon of butter, tablespoon of flour. Let that cook down for a minute until it gets to be the color you want. I'm looking for a little off blonde on this. You want that flour smell to be toasted and basically baked out. At that point, I'm going to whisk in the liquid. You can use some chicken broth for this. I chose to use straight heavy cream. And I'm doing this until I get to the consistency that I want. I kind of like my chicken and dumplings on the thick side, so we went pretty thick with this roux. All in all, I got about a half cup of it. So at this point, the chicken should be nice and done. We're gonna remove it from the pot and set it aside to cool so it can be shredded. And we add the roux. We're gonna whisk this to combined, and we're gonna let this come up to a simmering boil for a little while to ensure that it's thickened to the place where we want it. At that point, we're gonna make the dumplings, everybody. So let's do that. We got a 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of smoked salt, a tablespoon of my Something to Cluck About, and we whisk all of that to combine. At this point, we're going to cut in a 1/3 cup of cold butter, similar to making biscuits, but not nearly as fragile. After you get the sandy consistency that you want, you're going to add a cup of milk and fold to combined. The mixture that I got off this was a little wet for me. I'm looking for tacky. I don't want it to be sticking to my hands, so I added a little more flour until I reached the consistency I wanted. Again, you don't need to be delicate with these. They're gonna boil up. At this point, turn out that dough onto a rolling sheet, add some flour, and roll it out to about 1/8 inch thickness. And we're gonna cut it into approximately 1-inch strips. So after you have them cut up, be sure you separate them. They will stick together, and the last thing you want is a big ball of dough in the middle of your chicken and dumplings. So we brought the pot to a simmering boil here. I added a tablespoon of smoked salt because I felt like it needed a little more salt to zhuzh it up. And we begin to add the dumplings one dumpling at a time. You want to do it one at a time so your dumplings do not stick together. You want to create that barrier around them so they free float like noodles. After all your dumplings have been incorporated, give them a good stir and cap that pot and let it simmer for about 20 minutes to ensure those dumplings are a nice, tender bite, absorbing all that delicious chicken broth. At this point, add your shredded chicken, let it cook for another 10 minutes or so capped, and serve. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Absolutely delicious, thick, luxurious, fluffy, loaded with chicken flavor.
Chicken and dumplings straight out the pot. Fluffy, fluffy dumplings, hearty chicken, beautiful, beautiful broth. And I'm gonna tuck in. Man, that is fall to me. That is a wonderful, wonderful bite. I'm just gonna walk with this whole bowl. I hope you enjoy as much as I am. Like and subscribe for more content. Cheers.